The Galactic Council chambers erupted in chittering laughter as the human delegation entered. Ambassador Marcus Chen shuffled forward, his slight frame dwarfed by the towering Krethak warriors flanking him. At barely 5'6" and weighing, perhaps 140 pounds soaking wet, he looked more like a lost child than Earth's representative to the most powerful governing body in the galaxy. "Behold," boomed General Vextar, his forearms spread wide in theatrical mockery. "The mighty human empire sends us their greatest warrior." The Krethak's mandibles clicked in amusement, his obsidian exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's harsh lights. "Tell me, little mammal, do you even possess the strength to lift a weapon?" The assembled aliens, representatives from dozens of species across 3 spiral arms, joined in the cruel symphony. The serpentine Scythians hissed their derision, while the crystalline Quarians rang like broken bells. Even the normally stoic Eldari allowed themselves slight smirks, their ancient faces creasing with condescension. Marcus said nothing. He simply placed his worn leather briefcase on the obsidian table and opened it with steady hands. "Perhaps we should provide you with a child's training weapon," sneered Commander Zekloth of the Scythian Empire, her scales rippling with iridescent patterns of contempt. "Or better yet, return to your pathetic little world before you embarrass yourself further." The human's voice, when it finally came, was soft and unremarkable. "I'm not here as a warrior, General Vextar. I'm here as Earth's chief xenobiological analyst." This only intensified the mockery. Vextar's massive fist, each finger thick as a human thigh, slammed onto the table. "A scientist. They send us a weak little scientist while our fleets mass at their borders." His voice carried the weight of a creature that had personally torn apart star cruisers with his bare hands. "Human, your species has 3 standard cycles to surrender unconditionally, or we will demonstrate why the galaxy fears the Krethak Dominion." Marcus nodded thoughtfully, pulling a small tablet from his briefcase. "Actually, that's why I'm here. You see, we've been studying all of your species for quite some time now. Fascinating biology, really." "Our biology?" Zekloth's forked tongue tasted the air nervously. What could a primitive mammal possibly understand about superior evolution? "Oh, more than you might think." Marcus's fingers danced across the tablet's surface. "Take the Krethak, for instance. Magnificent exoskeleton, General, composed primarily of crystallized calcium carbonate with trace amounts of chitin, provides excellent protection against kinetic weapons and even low-level energy discharge." Vextar's 4 eyes narrowed. Something in the human's tone had shifted, though his body language remained unchanged, still the same unassuming scientist, hunched over his device. "However," Marcus continued conversationally, "we discovered something interesting about your exoskeleton's molecular structure. It becomes catastrophically brittle when exposed to a specific sonic frequency, approximately 47.3 kilohertz. The resonance literally tears apart the crystalline matrix at the molecular level." The general's confident sneer faltered slightly. "Impossible. Our armor has withstood plasma cannons, yes, antimatter bombardment, certainly. But sound?" Marcus smiled for the first time, and several delegates felt an inexplicable chill. "We tested it on captured Krethak equipment. 100% material failure within 37 seconds of exposure." He turned to the Scythian commander, whose serpentine form had begun to coil defensively. "Commander Zekloth, your species' neural architecture is truly remarkable. That distributed nervous system allows you to function even with severe trauma to your primary brain cluster. Evolutionary brilliance." What of it?" Her voice had lost its earlier venom. "Well, we found that your secondary neural nodes are extremely vulnerable to electromagnetic pulse, but only at a very specific wavelength. Something about the copper-based neurotransmitters in your system creates a feedback loop that essentially fries your entire nervous system from the inside out. Takes about 45 seconds for complete neural cascade failure." The chamber had grown deathly quiet. Marcus continued his presentation with the same mild academic tone one might use to discuss the weather. "The Quarians, beautiful crystalline matrix biology. Unfortunately, your entire species resonates at a frequency that we can now generate artificially. The right harmonic vibration and you simply shatter. The Eldari, impressive psychic abilities, but they rely on quantum-entangled neurons that we can disrupt with targeted particle bombardment. He looked up from his tablet, surveying the room with eyes that seemed far too calm. Should I continue? We have files on all 47 species, represented here today. General Vextar's voice came out as a strangled whisper. You're bluffing. No species could develop such specific weapons so quickly. Marcus reached into his briefcase again, this time withdrawing a small, innocuous-looking device no larger than a human smartphone. This is a Mark 7 Xenological Pacification Unit. Standard issue for all human diplomatic missions now. His thumb hovered over a simple red button. It can generate any frequency, wavelength, or particle emission pattern we've identified as lethal to hostile alien biology. The silence stretched like a taut wire ready to snap. The thing about humans, distinguished delegates, is that we're not the strongest species. We're not the fastest or the most technologically advanced when we started, but we are very, very good at identifying weaknesses. His voice remained conversationally pleasant. We study, we analyze, we find the one critical flaw that evolution left behind, and then we exploit it with ruthless efficiency. Commander Zekloth was the first to break. Her serpentine form pressed low against the floor in a posture of absolute submission. Please, we meant no offense. The Krethek Dominion withdraws all hostile intent toward Earth. Vextar rasped, his forearms trembling. We seek peaceful coexistence. One by one, the most powerful military leaders in the galaxy prostrated themselves before the small, unremarkable human with his briefcase and his terrible quiet knowledge. Marcus powered down his tablet and carefully returned it to his briefcase. Excellent. I'll let Earth Command know that diplomatic relations are proceeding smoothly. Now, shall we discuss trade agreements? The weakest human in the room had just conquered the galaxy without firing a single shot. Outside the council chambers, the stars continued their ancient dance, unaware that the balance of power had shifted forever in the space of a single conversation, and in the depths of space humanity's fleets turned away from their battle positions no longer needed. After all, why use a hammer when a scalpel would do?